A single LLM call has a known bounded cost. You can budget for it. An agent does not make one call. It makes many. 3 to 10 per task is normal, more with retries and reflection. Now multiply that by every user, and the economics that felt fine in a demo turn brutal in production. Here is the reassuring part and the core idea of this lesson. Cost is extremely controllable once you know the levers, and teams routinely cut agent spend 40 to 70% without hurting quality. First, understand why agents are expensive, because each reason maps to a fix. Many calls per task, every reasoning step, every tool decision, every reflection is another model call. Growing context, each turn carries the accumulated history, so the later calls in a run are bigger and pricier than the early ones. And loops and retries, a poorly bounded agent repeats work, and a retry on a huge context is expensive twice over. Now the levers in order of impact. The biggest one is model routing. Do not send a frontier model to do trivial work. Use a small cheap model for routing, classification, and simple subtasks, and reserve the expensive model for the genuinely hard steps. Second, caching. Prompt caching gives you a steep discount on the stable system and tool prefix, and semantic caching can skip the model entirely for a repeat question. Third, context pruning. Keep the window lean so later calls do not balloon, and push bulk data out of context using code execution. And right-size the loop too. A plan and execute agent makes fewer calls than a chatty React loop for a known task. So pick the cheapest loop the task actually needs. Fourth, token and step budgets. Cap the tokens per call and the number of steps per run. This is what bounds your worst case. Watch the math in the code. The same task, routed and cached, drops from cents to a fraction of a cent, and the levers stack. Now the warning you cannot skip. Beyond optimizing the average, you must bound the worst case with a hard limit. Every agent needs a step budget and a per run token or dollar ceiling, with a graceful fallback when it is hit. A reflection loop with no cap is not a feature. It is a runnable incident waiting to happen. And watch the spend per run in your traces and alert on the outliers, so runaway shows up before the invoice does. And one last reframe that changes how you measure everything. The metric that matters is cost per completed task, not cost per call. Because a cheap model that fails and forces a retry can cost more than the expensive model that gets it, right? The first time. So tie cost to your able outcomes and you optimize the real economics, not a tempting proxy. Root, cache, prune, and cap. Stack the levers and an agent stays both reliable and affordable.